All right, so did this earlier. It's not quite 8 yet, so I might be talking and nobody's watching. Let me make sure the my simulator thing set up here. Let's see, we'll go to scene. That's working. All right. Oh, it looks like I'm on. Okay, cool. So it's going here. Let me go a minute early, I guess. I don't know how this, when I schedule a live stream on YouTube, I don't know how exactly it starts, like if it just starts at that time or if it lets me pop in early, which it looks like it's let me pop in a little early, but I did one earlier and it didn't come on, actually show up until the actual time. So I was talking for 2 or 3 minutes and nothing was showing up on YouTube, even though I was technically broadcasting from OBS Studio. So I'm just gonna fly the drone simulator a bit and chatter. Oh, Devin, hello. All right, so doing drone simulator. This is going to be a low effort practice. I'm just going to fly around because it's just been a crazy week. All the fires here and stuff are just a little much, but I want to put in some time. I think I've been kind of averaging almost every other day, but I'd like to do a little bit every day. So let's get switched over here. Scene and been doing the countryside, which is really fun, and there's all these different courses. I literally just been going into this first one here and then just flying around and just getting the hang of it, trying to learn the whole building. And I actually went to one of them and hit fly, and it just put the first gate, like it'll give you a little indicator where you're supposed to go, and the first one was like in the middle of a hill somewhere, and I couldn't figure out how to get to it. So I don't know if I was doing something wrong or they just didn't try and they're just setting a timer so you can fly around. Essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly until my controller battery starts to go down, and then I'm going to call it, because I was working in my studio room building a backdrop and I was trying to time lapse it, but my battery on my GoPro started to go dead. So I'm charging the GoPro so I can continue to time lapse, and while that happens I'm going to do the drone for a little bit, trying to be proactive here. Anyway, let's get to flying around. There's all these different things. Baylands, countryside. Let me go to, I'm not going to do countryside. I'm going to do apocalypse. That was really fun. So I was going to the first one, Apocalypse Flow, Pylon, Whoop Trio Track 3. I haven't tried all of these different tracks. I'll put them on and I'm going to try them. I'm probably not going to hit start on the race. I'm just going to look around and we'll see what it looks like. Let me put some headphones on so I can hear what the heck is going on with my drone stuff. Okay. Oops. There goes my readers. Which fortunately I don't need for this. Alrighty. Now I got headphones. Now, out of curiosity, would you guys want to hear the drone noise, or is that going to be too loud and obnoxious? Or should you just want to hear me chatter? Because I can hear all the drone stuff. This course is really cool. Oop. But see, I've already crashed out. But this board has, oh, look at this. There's some, it's like a bomb in the road. I'm trying this Velocidrone app, and it's really awesome, the app, or this simulator. And I really dig it so far. It's been very good. I kind of did a little test of all the boards that I could find, but I haven't really like flown missions on them, and I'm not a good pilot by any means, so this is literally so that I can get better. It's just practice doing all this stuff. and I see improvement. I feel like when I take a day off and then I start back, I just feel way more natural. But I feel like as the hour goes on, I guess I'm on here for about an hour, 90 minutes at a time, and as the hour moves on, I realize I start to lose concentration and I get sloppier and sloppier. But if you've been watching over the last few days, I feel like I have a pretty big difference. Hold on, I'm going to land. Boop, boop, boop. Set it down. Sorry to be off topic. I've seen your 3PO thumbnail and R2 builder and come in to give you a like. Thank you very much. I can talk about all that stuff. Better than no noise. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I could talk about anything. I came on here. I figured I'd just chat about stuff while I'm flying around, and it'll be pretty fun. But yeah, the R2, the 3PO build. If we want to talk about 3PO stuff, I am working on some stuff. I have been talking about it a little bit, but I'm going to have my Patreon up and running here, hopefully this week, and I'm trying to get a couple projects in the works that'll be downloadable 3D files, and one of the first ones I have on my task list are 3PO shorts, and they're scanned from original movie costume shorts. So they're very, very accurate. They're asymmetrical. They have all the weirdness of the movie shorts. But I'm cleaning them up and making sure that they're easily printable. And I'm going to try to make them so that if you print them in TPU, that they flex in the right spots, but they're stiff in the right spots so that they hold paint a little bit better than just like a straight rubbery shorts, but they still flex. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's kind of the goal. And let's check out this church. Whoops, crashed. So that is kind of the goal. I'll have those up soon, and I'm working on EV99, one of the torture droid from Jabba's palace. Not the torture droid, the droid room. Like the checks in R2 and 3PO. You are a protocol droid, are you not? Yes or no will do. That droid, I'm working on that. That was what I live streamed yesterday. And I'll probably be back on that again, maybe late tonight. Because of the fire stuff here in LA, I've been up super, super late, just watching the news every night, like way later than normal. And I've been up way, way later than normal. And it's been, I don't know, just a little crazy. So I'll probably come back on here late and work on EV99. It's a lot to do on that model, but the original model parts that I'm working with are the ones that I made for Disney for Galaxy's Edge. So if you've been to Galaxy's Edge and in that droid builder room, then you may have seen some of my little EV99 parts, which I did the masters for. And I'm going to put those things up here pretty soon. So I'm trying to kind of focus and get something. Oh, dang it. I thought I was going to do something cool. Try to get something on there as quickly as possible so I have reason for people to even go on my Patreon. And that 3PO shorts, and I'm working on a couple other movie robots that I think are going to be real fun. And I'll probably do a list of my top projects that I want to do, and then let people pick and choose which ones will be their favorites, so that I'm kind of making something that everybody wants at the same time. Look at this. I mean, I feel like I'm flying a lot better right now. Excellent. I'm sure you're all in the builder groups by now. I'm in a lot of the builder groups. So there's the C3PO builder group that I post in quite a lot. And there's the original C3PO builder group that used to be my group, and then some jackass stole it from me, which is a whole video on its own. But basically stole it from me and then ruined the whole group. And then somebody had to make a new group. So, oh, dang it. So, yeah, that's all, my friend. Have a great play. All right, man, have a good time. Thanks for stopping by, Devin. But yeah, anyway, that's that. So I'll just be here chattering probably to myself. But if anybody's in here, feel free to say hello or ask questions or whatever. I'm glad to chat about whatever. Oh, there we go. Yeah, this week has been a little hectic, like I said, with the fires and everything. And the area I used to live in is now in like a red flag warning tonight. So that's kind of crazy. I'm glad I'm not there currently, but also feels sort of weird to seeing everybody I know having tons of issues. I've had friends lose their houses. It's been just crazy. And outside my house where I live, it's just perfect outside. It's so nice out today. It was like 56 degrees, blue skies, perfect. But if I go, 30 minutes away, it's total mayhem in town. Oh, dang it. Here we go. Whoop. Yeah, it becomes totally crazy, and everybody's losing their houses. I don't know what's going on. I feel like there's such horrible mismanagement of everything out here. The fact that it's got as messed up as it did is just blows my mind. And especially when there's things in place that should have worked that they just didn't have them ready, like a bunch of idiots. Whoa. Man, I'm getting pretty excited to... Oh, I missed that gap. Let me see if I can get it again. Nope. Oh, I crashed. I'm stuck on top. Here we go. Well, this thing goes fast. Oh, dang it. Sorry, guys. That was not exciting. It is crazy how much more natural this feels after taking a break for a day and coming back to it. Oh, still crashing a little bit, but I think what happens is as I'm learning this, what I do is I start to get the hang of a maneuver, but I'm really thinking about what my hands are doing, and sometimes I'll get it, sometimes I won't. But then when I take a break, it's almost like my brain digests all that information, and then like that, like I should shoot that little gap between the horse. That was pretty cool. But yeah, it feels like I'm slowly getting it. Again, if you guys are just tuning in for the first time, this is maybe 6th or 7th time doing simulator practice, and I just started doing it maybe like last week on basically like an unrestricted mode with all the safety things turned off, so I couldn't do like the barrel rolls or flips or any of that kind of stuff. I couldn't do previously because it had a limiter on how far the drone could tip, and it really kind of affects the way it flies, and I wish that I hadn't started with that stuff turned on. Over the dog. Oh, almost. But yeah, it's really fun, and I feel like this simulator has been very helpful. Hopefully it translates well to when I get my real drone. And I'm gonna start with one of those like tiny whoops, I think, because it just seems like real forgiving, something I could practice inside, keep it close by, not flying it out into the wilderness, not yet. And once I feel comfortable with that, once I feel comfortable with that, I will switch over to something a little bigger that can carry a GoPro or something neat so I could actually get some good footage. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I did just get an idea for a maneuver. Oh. See if I can roll it and then flip it like that. Wow, that's cool. And probably not ready, obviously, to do that with a FPV drone yet, but I think I'm going to try to get my 107 test sorted out, because apparently the only way to really legally post drone videos to the internet, if you're getting paid for it, is to have a 107 license. Now, a lot of people post anyway, but technically speaking, you can get fined for that, and that's kind of freaky. So I'm gonna make sure I got all my stuff legally sorted, and then I'll probably start trying to use my other drones. I got a couple DJI cinema style drones that I'll try to get into working and see what's going on. And I think that with all the stuff going on here right now, there's so much property damage everywhere that there may be some work to be done for damage assessment, and even like after people are rebuilding, doing inspections of roofs and so forth. I know that a lot of companies are hiring drone operators for that, so might be some work to do. And I feel like the movie industry is going to be slowed down because of the fires. So many people that I know working in the industry have had their houses just gone, like totally destroyed, and all their stuff destroyed. So I feel like it's going to put a damper on anything shooting here for a little bit. All the regular casting things that I typically see are just nothing. It's going up right now, which obviously makes sense, but is very slow. Which, when you work in this industry, that is not a good thing. So having some other cool stuff to do is probably for the best. Oh my God. Oh my God. What's funny is I can never tell how many people are actually in here. But sometimes they'll show me the numbers, and at the end of the, oh my gosh, sorry guys. At the end of the live stream, I'll see the numbers, and then it's more than I thought. Like, I didn't see all these people come through. People didn't chime in or anything. So if you're here, if there's anybody here, ask a question or something, I'll be glad to chat about it. Whoa. Oh my God, I saved it. Can I get through here? Oh, almost. See, the other day I was trying to fly through those little spaces, and I would get almost like too nervous. After I get through the first window, and then I get inside and I'd crash, just like that. All right, I'm gonna try to do more controlled low-level flight here and see if I can keep my altitude a little lower, fly a little more carefully. That's the thing, is like flying around and up high, it's real easy to just do whatever you want because it's pretty forgiving. But when you're flying around and stuff, it's very easy to crash. That, whatever that maneuver is right there, when I'm making like a right-hand turn like this, I tend to drift to the left more than if I do a right-hand turn the same way. Oh no. That was the thing too, is with the what is it? The DRL simulator. It gave a little indicator at the bottom that showed where the stick positioning was on my controller, and I really, oh dang it, and I really dug that. It was pretty cool to be able to watch, and I feel like if anybody's watching that's learning, or anybody that's good, they could see what I'm doing with the sticks down there, and then critique my maneuvers or learn from it. If I did something good, it'd be maybe useful to see how I did it. And if I do something bad, it might be useful to see how I did it. Whoa. What other stuff can I... But, oh, almost got it. Almost through there. Yeah, so upstairs, like you see the backdrop behind here is just a wall. Oh, dang it. And typically I would be shooting in my studio space, but it's all taken apart right now. So that, again, is what I was doing. If you were here earlier, you heard me say that. I was in the process of doing kind of like a decorative wall treatment to the back wall where I keep all my Star Wars droids, and my GoPro ran out of batteries. I was trying to time lapse it, so I'd like to post it. And everything I'm making up there is just out of old styrofoam, so it's basically all the stuff that we bought since we moved here, ovens and appliances and furniture and anything that came with big sheets of packing EPS styrofoam. EPS is expanded polystyrene, just that white styrofoam you see. Oh man, I thought I was going to get that. The white styrofoam that comes with all kinds of stuff. I saved tons of it. I have piles of that stuff out in my garage, and it's taking up too much space. And I saved it with the intent of trying to make kind of like some set like backdrops. And what I'm doing now is going to be like sort of like a sci-fi, workshop wall kind of thing. I want to try to make it look like faux metal, dirty and rusty, and then like some panels and stuff. Like kind of, if you think about the exterior of like a Star Destroyer from the original Star Wars, they have all those little rectangular panels all over the place. Kind of like that, and just make the background sort of interesting, so I don't have a white generic wall back there behind all my cool costumes. And hopefully I'll have that pretty far along by tomorrow afternoon and start to put my room back together, and then I can move all this stuff up there. Ooh. And up and through. And oh, dang it. All right, I'm gonna try the course. Let's see what the course says here. Oh, I hear sirens. All right. Okay, turn around there. I feel like these courses are pretty fun to help me get my skills down a little bit, right? I don't know which way I'm supposed to go through that. This way? Oh, what just happened? I don't know. I just clicked through one of them. I can't even see it. But it makes like a little ba-ding, ba-ding kind of sound. Okay, so I gotta go around this, and then okay, I see an arrow. Oh, up there. Oh, wrong side. There's like a little dots on the ground for the course. Whoop, up, 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 up. Oh my God, I just missed it. Great. Oh, cool. All right, now we're gonna do this bottom one, around the bend, and back to the next one. We'd have to do that 3 times for each one. Oh, and another one. It's crazy because there's people that could just probably rip through here so fast. And here I am just struggling. Oh my God. Oh my God. Great. Okay. Third one. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I can see it. It's around the corner. Okay. Okay, around the corner, up. Ugh. Cool. Oh, oh. Wow. Some of these turns are pretty weird. Like you got to go this way. Where am I going? Okay, follow this. Oh, I see. I got to go. Oh, over? I don't know what's happening. Cool. Up and over and then down. Wow. Damn it. I love that doing those dive moves, but I'm not good at them, clearly. Yep. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. Let's do it again. Okay. Cool. Battery, 56%. Okay, go around the pole. Oh, through the gate down there. Around the pole. I don't even know how it just crashes now. All right. Through the gate. I don't know what that was. I got to figure out what the markings mean because it'll be on the ground. It'll have a little. Up. Oh God, sorry guys. And back down here. I got it. I see. Ugh. Now where am I? That was not the optimal way to do this. I'm supposed to go through both. Okay. So I go through the bottom one angle and then I got to go through. Come on. Boy, there's little subtle things when I'm just sort of trying to hover and drift. Feel very weird. The thing that's different about doing FPV versus the cinema style drones is that the angle that you're seeing in the camera feels wrong. Like it feels like you're gonna backslide when you're just hovering. The camera's leaning so far back that it feels strange. When you're moving forward, it feels oh damn it. When you're moving forward, it feels right. But when you're slowing down, you're leaning much further back. I'm still trying to get used to that. So like when I get in close like that, oh my gosh. Like to just slow down and hover like this. Oh God, see? I gotta figure out where my center point is. Like the horizon line that I look at to where I want to go gets lower and lower on the screen as I try to slow down. I got to get used to that. Okay, where do I go? There is a thing. Okay, I see it. I'm going to shoot through that guy. Okay. Oop. Almost did it. Ugh. Yeah, I don't know what's better. Like practicing on these things, which is, again, forces me to do some stuff. Like I was saying on one of the things the other day, doing these kind of like races or whatever really makes you go a certain path. So you have to hit these targets in a certain way. And versus just flying around where it's definitely more forgiving. And I feel like this is probably, I was looking at the wrong angle. I didn't even realize. It's like trying to be subtle, but also try not to let the stupid thing fall out of the sky. There we go. Oh, this is the second lap. I see what's going on here. Okay, one more of those. Come on. Oh my God. It's kind of like riding a unicycle or something where, I feel like once I learn where everything is, it's going to be a little easier to predictively get set up for the next turn. Because right now, I don't even know the course at all. Oh my God, come on. Oh my God, stop it. So I gotta go up. Oh, I gotta do the dive. Gotcha. That's where I messed up last time. Oh, my battery just ran out. That's good. Yeah, it's cool that it gives you like a battery thing. Gordon Tarpley, lap times. All right, let's try it again. Back. All right. I don't know why I'm doing this one again. Oh. Is it easier if I go a little faster? I don't think so. In a way, it kind of is, because I feel like I can set up the shot and shoot it from I say it right as I crash. Great. I can set up the, like, kind of where I got to go, and then I'm sort of lined up. If I'm lined up for it, which I'm not there, clearly. If I'm lined up for the shot, I feel like it's easy to go through it faster than slower. Okay, I'm not doing this here. I'm just going to fly around. I don't have the concentration for this at the moment. Also, you guys are making me nervous. But if I'm flying around and I look for like these little gaps, I can like look for my own gaps. But something about being forced to do a turn is probably good for me. So I'm not worried about getting the goal here, but oh my God. Hey Gordon, you've ever seen Imps or Troops? I heard they're going to make a new episode soon. Oh my gosh. The old Troops, like from way back in the day, that one, I saw, if it's the one I'm thinking of, I remember that from a long time ago, from like the late 90s or early 2000s. I wonder if they'd let me be in on it, make some props or something. That'd be fun. But yeah, if it's the same Troops I'm thinking of, it was pretty funny. I think that was like the first real like fan film, if it's the same one, that was just well done like that. And those guys made those stormtrooper costumes, and the site, build your own stormtrooper costume. I think that was the name of the site back in late 90s, early 2000s, whenever it was. I built one of my stormtrooper costumes with information I got off of that website. Like my first Vacuformer was built off of their instructions, or based on it. It was a little different, but it was the general like idea came from what they did. And it was funny, the place I was renting, I was like, using the oven in our house to melt our plastic, and it was just probably terrible stuff you shouldn't do, you know. And that stormtrooper suit, yeah, the old Cop Star Wars, that's the one. And it's that one, I think that's the same one. The guys built all their things. They're harassing the Jawas and doing all that kind of stuff. Are those guys? I actually think that page is still around. I looked not too long, a couple of years ago. I went and looked, and that page was actually still up. The website. That'd be cool. Do you know where they're shooting it by any chance? I know. And are you going to be in on it? I'm friends with the VFX lead. You want me to ask her for you? Yeah, absolutely. If they want any, I have a bunch of droid costumes and stuff, and so if they're gonna shoot stuff and they want to shoot in the desert with like any of my droid costumes, let me know, and I could, for the most part, repaint them any way they want. I've got a CZ3, a 3PO, which I could make like a different color for the shoot. I've got the RA7 that I used in Skeleton Crew, which I wouldn't repaint that just because it's now got a screen use paint job from the show, so I don't want to mess that up. But got all those. I have a stormtrooper suit, like literally right here. I've got stormtrooper parts for a whole stormtrooper costume I'm working on too. So if they need an extra TK, let me know. And my other stormtrooper suit it's being displayed at my friend's office, but I could get it back from him, and it's set up like a sand trooper right now. It's all dirty, and it's got the pauldron, got a backpack and all this stuff for it. So if they need sand troopers, I could do that. And I really it'd be fun to be part of. Just doing some VFX stuff. I think they shot already, but really, damn, I'm curious to know. They probably shot with some of my friends. It'd be funny if they shot out here by me. Like, I live up in North LA, and there's like North Los Angeles County, and it's desert up here. There's like tons of good spots to shoot that are deserty. There's some places that some dunes that are not that far by, not that far away, not pretty close by, not that far away. That's what I meant to say. And there are big salt flats not that far. Really cool. Just north of me, there's Red Rock State Park. It's just beautiful, beautiful cliffs and things, and a bunch of like neat desert stuff all around here. And then not that far, you could go to Trona Pinnacles or Death Valley is like 4 hours. And then Alabama Hills, also crazy awesome rock formations. That is maybe 2 hours for me. And really beautiful. They shot tons of stuff there. Yeah, man, let me know if they still need anything, or they want to do any pickup shots, like, like inserts or something, and they need like green screen of characters, droids, or whatever. Let me know. I also have a couple alien masks that are not Star Wars, but they look Star Wars, which was kind of the point when I made them. They're non-IP, just stuff that I made up. So there's no like copyright infringement to use them. Well, I'm freaking screaming through. Let me see if I can do a loop and cut that gap. Maybe I know it's all filmed in California. I think the big head lives in North Carolina and the rest are in LA. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so there's just so many good places to shoot out here. Oh, there goes the battery. Yeah, so many good spots to shoot out here in California. Oh my God, so loud. You guys can't hear the music, but it's so loud in my ear. Oh, whoops. I don't even know what's happening. It just started up and I flew way up. Why is the music so loud in my ears? It just did this weird thing. It's loud music's playing for no reason. Let me see if I can. I'm going to go back and start this one over and see if I can get it to not blast music in my ear. Single player. Quad settings. Continue. Which one did we do last time? We did Apocalyptic Flow, right? Let's do track. Let's go down here. See what this one is. It's got 4 stars. Yeah, it's crazy to think about all that stuff. Oh, look at this. Iron Ryan. Wow, that's crazy. They add a bunch of stuff into these boards. I'm very curious as to how much the boards will change between the different creators here, if they can move around any of this stuff, because it looks like the basic level, didn't make it, looks like the basic level is essentially the same, and they add in their own, like these gates and stuff. Do you do any VFX work, or are you like, how do you know those guys from this show? Oh. this one up there. Oh my God, crashing everywhere. It's so funny that they're doing that again now. Like, when did they do the last one? Had to be like 25 years ago almost, right? Is that when the last Troops was done? Maybe longer than that. It's like 99? Is that right? God, that's a long time. Oh. Where my course is way over here. Looks like they built this whole set of course obstacles over on this side of the place. I feel like these gates are bigger than the last ones. The last ones are harder to fly through. Oh. Dang it. Messaged them, we got along pretty well with them, so just help out whenever I can. I'm an engineering student, but I do VFX as a hobby. A few years ago, I got really big into the hobby. After S1 and Mandalorian, saw some fan films from, like, you say 99, and was like, damn. Yeah, that's freaking cool, man. Doing VFX work is fun. What are you using? Any specific software currently? Like, are you going straight for like the Maya stuff? Are you doing Blender? Do you have a preference, or compositing? There's like, Nuke now, and well, Nuke's been around for a while, but After Effects, Nuke, and the thing is, Blender has a good compositor in it already, which is kind of crazy. So what kind of, have you been doing effects for them as well, for those shoots, or are you just friends with the effects guys? It's crazy too now, like the VFX has gotten so much more powerful and just so much easier and faster than back when like when I started getting into that stuff. It was like, took forever to render stuff. When I was doing architectural work, just to render a scene, it was just like a ordeal. I would have to like hit render, go to lunch, and then I have might get back and have like a low res version of the scene to look at. Now there's all this like real time rendering, and it's amazing. It makes doing the work so much easier, and again, so much faster. Just to be able to like swap a color and look at it fully rendered, and it's just great. I used Blender, tried Maya a while back, but couldn't do it. Just modeled pretty much, so Blender treats me okay. Been wanting to move to 3D Studio Max. I used 3D Studio Max for a long time. Like most of my work, my old architecture work was done in 3D Studio Max. That was like my main software for a long, long time. And like last year, maybe 2 years ago, right before I moved, I had a project come up with the guy I used to work with back in 12 years ago or something. And last time I worked with him, I was using 3D Studio Max, and I was doing background replacement, building digital sets, and then we'd comp the actors in. And he's like, hey, I got a client that want to do that same kind of work, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that, but I no longer had my license for 3D Studio Max. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to do it in Blender. And I had never used Blender at all. So I just dove in and went for it, and I really liked it. And I feel like the modeling in Blender is like the functions in Blender are close enough to 3D Studio Max that there are some really good tutorials for me, and probably vice versa. Like if you were coming from Blender to Max, the terminology is really similar. So unlike when I started to learn Fusion 360, basic stuff has totally different names in Fusion than it does in like 3D Studio Max. So some stuff that would probably take me like at the time like 15 minutes to do in 3D Studio Max would take me all day to do in Fusion 360 because I didn't know what I was doing. But I feel like Blender is much closer to 3D Studio Max in that way, and the rendering is really great, right? For free, the free renderer that's in there is awesome. Modeling's good, the sculpting is good. So if I use ZBrush all the time. I use ZBrush in Fusion 360 now because now most of my 3D work is for doing props and things. And I have very heavily considered moving everything over to Blender, except for like the stuff I do in Fusion is more mechanical. It's really like engineering style stuff. So Fusion is really good to use. Plus I can use it with people that use like SolidWorks. A lot of shops around here that are building props and things use SolidWorks or Fusion 360, and there is some decent amount of compatibility between the two as far as what kind of files you can share, which is nice. But Blender is really good. It's really good. Very impressed with it. And I remember when the first time I saw it was back in like 2005 or 6, and it was not so good back then. It seemed so cheap and chunky, and now it just feels like a professional program. In school, I used AutoCAD, and that software hasn't changed since early 90s. Oh man, no, AutoCAD is just like annoying. I don't even know how people still use it. Blender's great. I do think it has huge issues with sculpting, just performance. I feel like it does, but it is improving very quickly. The sculpting stuff is improving very quickly. I feel like every time I get an update on it, the sculpting gets better, and I've seen some people online doing some very good digital sculpting that they're using for props and things. Another thing is Blender's got like good mapping tools in, like texture mapping. So for VFX, what the hell was that?
Oh, sorry, it was my.
Sorry, somebody just blew up something in my house. What was that?
My measuring tape.
Oh.
It fell.
My wife is up there breaking things upstairs. But yeah, it's not quite as good as ZBrush yet, but it's getting there. And the texturing tools are great. The fact that you can go from poly modeling, good poly modeling, easy poly modeling, straight into sculpting and mix the two and then render them in the same program is so handy. And now ZBrush, they got bought out by Maxon, and then they were trying to do this stupid subscription thing, and then they're trying to package it up with this other crap that I don't use, and it is very annoying. So my version of ZBrush I use is currently like an old version, not old, but it's the last version that they offered as part of the perpetual license. Neil, wife attack. Yep, I know. It scared the shit out of me. Oops, I probably just got my stream just probably got capped just now. She said she dropped the tape measure upstairs. I don't know what she's doing. What is she doing? What is that, Step Brothers? Or no, Wedding Crashers. When Will Ferrell's like, Mom, give me the meatloaf. Oh my God, here we go. Oh, look at this insane thing. I feel like these giant gates are easier to fly through than that last level, which I don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, it's good for me now, but I think if I'm trying to get really good at this, the harder the level, probably the better. Oh my God. I can't believe I'm making some of these things now. Like a few days ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that, what I just did. I can't justify paying subscriptions. Tried to buy old Photoshop and ZBrush, but people Want a pretty penny. I know, it's just annoying. The thing I hate about subscriptions is that if you're offline or you're traveling and like you don't have internet or you're on a plane and you're like, hey, I'm gonna fly somewhere, but you don't have Wi-Fi on the plane and you go to log on and you forgot to set it up for travel mode and now it's not letting you use the software. That is not cool. And then Photoshop, Adobe just did this whole thing. I'm sure you guys saw that, where they basically were sneaking it into the newest licensing agreement that they have like access to your work to train their AI, essentially, which is really messed up. And then all these companies were kind of screwed, because if you're in the middle of a project and their stupid subscription software updates automatically, and now suddenly you're forced to either sign their new contract, agree to it, or don't use their software, that is very, very, very wrong. And the thing is, if you buy it, you could agree to the thing, and then you could keep that old version. If they change something, new version, just don't buy the new version. But now you still have it. And I like that. But the fact that they want to do just like cloud storage and all this stuff is not cool, because a lot of clients, the people I work with, they're very, very strict NDAs on things, and I would technically be breaking NDAs if I was storing things on cloud servers as I worked on stuff for clients. Now, I guess, Fusion 360 is kind of like that, but you can set it up to save locally if you want. Oh. Let's see, how am I doing battery-wise? About half down. Totally, for me, I feel that I never use the software enough in 1 month. Just like that's how I am too. That's the thing, is like if I do ZBrush, I'll do ZBrush a lot for like 4 weeks or 5 weeks, and then I won't use it for like 3 months. So 3 months, I'm paying for it. I'd rather just have, like, the one that I'm using currently, I paid for in 2017, whenever I left my job, and I decided I had to get my own ZBrush, because forever I had the one for my work, and that was great. But then in 2017, I bought my license, and it's supposed to be perpetual license, which is good, but it wasn't cheap. It was like a lot of money for me to pay at the time, and I did it, and with the expectation that I was going to have a perpetual license. But then Maxon came along and screwed it up. And I got my first ban on Twitter for telling Max, and I hope they get diarrhea, because I was so mad. Totally, for me, I feel yeah. Yeah, the Photoshop, I think, is the only subscription I still have, because I don't use it very often at all, but when I need it, I really need it. So it's kind of like we have it around, but I might try to figure out a way to phase out of it. There's a lot of competitors to Adobe stuff now. Like I was using Premiere and After Effects and that whole damn suite, and I use DaVinci Resolve for video editing, and they have in there built in some special effects stuff, which I haven't tried yet, but it's pretty much the equivalent of After Effects. And the Resolve is the equivalent of like Premiere, and it works great. It works really, really great. And my wife got the paid version of it a couple months ago, which I haven't messed with yet, but it's pretty much the same as the free version, except you have better export options, a few more features, but for the most part, it's just like the quality, the export resolution. You can do 4K and stuff with the paid version, and free version is just like 1080p. But pretty much anything that I've posted on YouTube in a while that's been edited has been done in DaVinci, just because I hated paying for Premiere. And Premiere crashed, and it was laggy, and DaVinci's really solid. And it used to be, oh god damn it, it used to be more of just a coloring program for doing color grading. And my brother-in-law, he's a colorist who works in the film industry doing color for TV shows and stuff, and he was telling me, like, yeah, everybody's using DaVinci to edit now. I'm like, really? And I tried it, and oh my god, it's good. So if I can find that equivalent of Photoshop, I will definitely try to move over to it. I'll miss Adobe. There's things I've used literally since version 2.5 of Photoshop, before they had layers. I've been using Photoshop since before there were layers. And, you know, I'll miss it. But I won't miss it if they're screwing me over all the time. And, you know, the program's gotten really bloated, and things that just used to be quick and easy are kind of more of a pain than they used to be. There's little bits of lag and little stupid menus pop up constantly. Like, if you want to do like a AI generated thing, and if you select something, it'll pop up there, and it's very annoying. Can I get through this door? I can, yay. Totally. Resolve is awesome. Resolve is awesome. Heard it isn't one-to-one with Nuke for compositing, but it's perfect for... Yeah, it's not... For compositing, I wouldn't compare it. Nuke is amazing. Nuke is the way to go. If you could get Nuke, use Nuke for compositing. However, the Blender has a compositor, and I didn't know about this for a long time, but there's a compositor, a node-based compositor. Now, I don't know how strong it is compared to Nuke. I haven't done any of that testing, but I love the node-based stuff. When I started using Nuke, it was like, oh my gosh, this is... My brain functions well with the node-based more than the layers. Photoshop Brush Engine is the best. Also very exclusive. Try importing new brushes and anything else. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Their brushes are great. And what's funny is, like, again, I've been using that stuff for a long time. So I remember when their brushes started to get good, because for a long time, the concept artists would use Painter. And Painter had all the good brushes, and it was really great. And they started to add, like, actual, like, artistic brushes into Photoshop. It was a game changer. It was so cool. Oh. And Painter was awesome too. And there were things in Painter that made it just really, really cool to work with. Like being able to rotate the canvas and stuff, which they added to Photoshop later, but there was a thing that was in Painter for a long time. And just like the wet brushes and like wet on wet, you could do like color blends and stuff. And a lot of that stuff they've added into Photoshop now, or made some kind of like close equivalent, but it just looked really good. And that was one of the very first programs I ever had back in a long time ago. When I got my first computer, I got a giant tablet, Wacom. Hate that it's Wacom and not Wacom, but it's Wacom. And the first program I had was Painter in my tablet, and I used it all the time. It was really great. And then like later versions of it got really good, but it was like never as stable as Photoshop. Photoshop just was way less likely to crash. But I think of all the versions of Photoshop CS5 is the one that just like it had the best features and like the best performance. And then they've got crazy new features now, like that, you know, the generative fill and stuff is kind of amazing in some ways, depending on what you're doing. But also, the pop-ups for it are so annoying, and like little stupid things just have like a millisecond of lag that it didn't used to have. And I'm like, can we just turn off whatever is causing this? This program used to be so smooth. And my computer's not the best, but it's not bad. I miss MS Paint. MS Paint. Oh yeah, Painter. If you like, so look up concept artists. Look up like Feng Zhu. It's a really good one. He does everything in Photoshop now, but he used Painter for a long time. And if you look up, I think it was Macromedia that did Painter, if I remember correctly. And if you look up the old tutorials from Painter back in like, I don't know, like 2008. Oh my gosh, it was like the best. And you could do like just, you know, drawing, do it like sketch art and then color it in and stuff, and it just looked like real artwork. And now Photoshop does that well, but it didn't at the time. There was a lot lacking in Photoshop as far as like artistic brushes and blending brushes and like how paints blended together and stuff. Like you could paint with oils, watercolor, acrylic, like you could choose your medium, and it really did a good job of acting like you were working with that actual medium. So if you were using like oil pastels or something, it would really interact. Like when you draw on top of a pre-existing color, it would blend like a real medium would. It was cool. But that was the go-to. So if you look at like I said, concept art from probably like prior to 2010 for sure. So much concept art was done that way. And then I remember like when it started to change and people were kind of splitting it like 50-50 Photoshop and then Painter, and then Photoshop added their really good art brushes. And you could do like blending brushes. That was real powerful. Oh, damn it. Slightly peeved I wasn't born 20 years earlier so I could buy ZBrush and Photoshop when they were perpetual. The thing is, like, it was perpetual, but now, because Maxon bought it, they honored that thing. When they first bought it, from Pixelogic, they said they were going to keep perpetual licenses. They're like, don't worry, we're going to keep the perpetual license just like Pixelogic. And then they kind of reneged on that a couple years ago. And they're like, hey, well, if you want a new perpetual license, it's going to be like $700. And I was like, well, I bought a perpetual license, and you guys just said you're going to honor it. And that's messed up. And then basically made it so expensive that it's, encouraging you to do their stupid subscription thing. Very, very annoying. But the thing is, like, if you bought ZBrush in 2005, and you would have had a perpetual license for 15 years or more until Maxon screwed it up. So, I mean, that was really nice. And there's a lot of features. Like if you go on my page, there's some very old ZBrush stuff on here that I did pre-Dynamesh. Like they have what is it called now? There's the one, oh my gosh, there's a function where you can just sculpt and it just keeps making new geometry for you. You don't have to worry about geometry running out. It's really cool. But with Dynamesh, you could sculpt and then you could like re-Dynamesh it. You have more geometry. Before that, it was like kind of a big pain if you had to, like if you sculpted a figure and then you didn't have enough geometry in the hand, you'd have to go back down to your lowest resolution model, export that out to like Maya or 3 Studio Max, add in some new edge loops, re-import the model, project the old model onto the new model, or like turn it up and project the new version with more geometry onto the old version. All of that just to get a little more, a little more pixels in a little more polygons. I mean, into your fingers or whatever. It's a huge pain in the ass. And then they added Dynamesh and made that way, way easier. There's a ZBrush piece I did, I don't remember, 2008, 9 maybe, that was, you can look it up. If you look up my name, Gordon Tarpley, No Time for Love, look it up. It's like a statue in a museum. It's just like a still thing. And people have gotten that thing tattooed on them and all kinds of stuff. But there are issues with that sculpt that I hated when I was doing it, but I just did not have enough geometry to fix them. And at the time, you couldn't just up the geometry in an area. They didn't have Z modeler, they didn't have Z remesher, they didn't have Dynamesh. And so I was just working with like just crazy geometry. So like one area would have like insane geometry and the other area wouldn't have enough geometry. It was very frustrating. I mean, overall, that sculpt it's decent, but there's some issues that always bothered me. But the fact that people get it tattooed on them makes me feel like it's okay. Whoop, there we go. All right, I'm gonna fly through some stuff here. Let me pick a floor. Oh, damn it. Oh, Corel Painter. That's the one. Corel. Thank you. Yeah, Ryan Church. Yep. Ryan Church use it all the time. Feng Zhu use it all the time. There are a bunch of them. If you go back to the old Gnomon like lessons, I have stacks and stacks of those Gnomon DVDs, like 40 of them, and a bunch of them are the concept artists use Painter, and it's really good. But Photoshop beat it out. I don't think anybody really uses it anymore. It's Corel. That's right, Corel. And Ryan Church is amazing. Oh. See, I get like, if you were here earlier, I was flying so much better. Right now, I'm crashing constantly. Gordon and Steven, 3PO from Colorado. Hey, how's it going? Oh my gosh. I'm over here practicing my drone skills. And I've been on for a bit, and I feel like the longer I'm on, I start to degrade. When I first pulled up, I was doing pretty good, and now I'm kind of like, I don't know what it is. I space out, or I just get out of that flow. But it's okay. I feel like if I put in an hour every day or two, I'm going to be good at it. So when I get a real FPV drone, oops, see that? When I get a real FPV drone, then I will be able to not crash it so much. Get all my crashing out of the way here as much as possible. I'm sure 100% that I'm going to crash the real drone too, but it'll be good if I can minimize that as much as possible. All right, I'm going to go into town here. I'm going to fly through a parking garage here. Oh, there's a window in that one. Damn it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yay, that was what I wanted to do. Can I do that again without wiping out? Nope. I'm no good. And I don't know if Steven, I don't know if you heard that, but I'm going to be putting up pretty soon my Senior Pepe. Gordon, I got to go, but I'll see you next stream. We'll talk about the imps, fellas. Any chance I get a Discord? I don't have a Discord. Should I set one up? Do you think people would use it? I'll do that. But man, anyway, it was good to hear from you. Good to go. How's Ultralumin treating you? Well, the Ultralumin, I haven't done any more tests, but the tests I did were real good. I made some mistakes on my end, but overall the stuff worked amazing. And then the guy from Ultralumin sent me a message, and he saw my videos, and he showed me how to fix what I had done wrong. And then he made a little video showing the process of fixing a piece if you have oversprayed the Ultralumin, which is amazing, because that was the problem, is that like it looked really good, and then I sprayed too much, and I could tell that I messed it up a little bit. But you can fix it. You can fix it, and it's amazing. And Neil, you're getting better. Thank you very much. I could definitely tell at the beginning of the stream I was like flying way better. Now I feel a little choppy, but I guess even this, compared to how it was the other day, is doing better, which is good. I'm starting to get the hang of getting through these stupid little things, and that's fun. But yeah, you can fix the Ultralumin, and he gave me tips on making sure it was like cured enough for clear coat. Now, I'm hoping I can, in like, I don't even know, what is today, this 12th? In 20 days, 21 days, 3 weeks from today, I'm doing the Saturn Awards, and I would like to have my new helmet and new arms shiny and gold. Now, I got new arms that are like okay. I did a quickie treatment before the Hollywood Christmas Parade, and the actual arms themselves are fantastic to wear, but the gold was not done properly, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna wear it for the parade. It looks fine on video, but in person I hate it. So I'm gonna try to fix that before the Saturn Awards, and I'm gonna try to use the Duralumin, because if I can get the Duralumin like 96% as shiny as the spray chrome, then I'll be happy. It'll look good in photos, because what I have now isn't even close, and it looks pretty good in video and stuff. But if I can get it to the 96% mark, spray chrome, it'll be my new go-to, because that anything shinier than that is like too much on camera usually. But yeah, I'm gonna try it again. I'm gonna take the guy's advice and get it. I'm gonna repaint the stuff in a lighter color, because he said if you're doing gold, to do either a gray or a white base coat, not black. And to correct the if you overspray and it sort of dulls it a little bit, you just spray 99% isopropyl alcohol on the piece, and it'll basically wash off the excess, and then it redries and it looks beautiful again. So that's the trick. And that is it. And I'm impressed with how much I got out of a single bottle. I've been super impressed with how much a single bottle of the Ultralumin. I've only used half of it. I still have a full half bottle left, which is enough to do the arms again and the head again. So I'm gonna try that. The thing too is when I tinted the gold, I don't know if I put that in the video. When I tinted the gold parts, gold with the Ultralumin, the gold looks different. Even if I did on all clad, it's the same thing. It looks like more like a greenish kind of yellow, more than that like ambery kind of gold yellow that 3PO looks. It is exact same tint, exact paint. It just looks so different over the two different types of silver underneath. So I'm wondering if it'll look better when I get the stuff more settled, like shinier and cured better. I'll find out. We'll find out one way or the other. I'm so excited that your RA7 made it into Skeleton Crew. I thought it was someone else, but I'm excited for you. The thing is, the someone else, their RA7 sucks shit. It's the worst goddamn thing. It's all 3PO parts. It's 3PO parts. It's an RA7 chest and an awful RA7 head that's like 40% too big, giant goofy shaped head, ripped off from Golden Armor, and the whole rest of the suit is 3PO. It's got 3PO arms, 3PO legs. Didn't even try to do it right. It's embarrassing. I'm like, how could you do that? And the people from the production don't know this. They're like relying on this person to be the expert, and then he's supplying them with that, and he feels nothing about like being like, wow, this is really not good. Either he doesn't feel it or he can't see it himself, and that's even worse. You're gonna hire somebody who's supposed to be a professional and they don't see it. I mean even like Rogue One. Now I'm not just critiquing because it's him, and you know my issues with this guy, but the problem is like even with Rogue One, if you look back in 2015, when did Rogue One come out? 2015, 2016. They had an RA7 in the trailer, and I was all excited. I made a video about it. So this has nothing to do with, you know who I'm talking about, but their RA7 looked pretty good, but it had a C-3PO back, and that made me so upset. I was like, why are you going to go through the trouble to make this whole droid, make this whole costume, and you're not going to try to make it true to the original? That's insane. Like it's not like there's not reference, and if you're working on these productions, you have access to a lot of like behind the scenes photos, maybe even a trip to the Lucasfilm archives to go see the stuff in person. And that suit, the RA7 suit, the real one, has been out on display with Star Wars Identities exhibit for years. So there's tons of photos of it, front and back. There's no excuse to not do it right at this point. I mean, when Golden Armor, the guy Golden Armor who Chris ripped the head off from, said his name, when he ripped that head off from Golden Armor, recast it, when Golden Armor did his, it was like before there was a lot of pictures up on the internet of that droid. So he's working for pretty much like 2 pictures and maybe like a freeze frame of a DVD or something. And there were no real good pictures of the back of the head at that time. I looked for them back then, and they were pretty scarce. So, it's forgivable, and you just don't know the real shape because it was very hard to find reference of it. And again, the shape, the scale, all that stuff is like hard to tell. But again, now it's been in the Star Wars Identities exhibit, and it's standing right next to 3PO in that exhibit. So if you know the scale of anything on 3PO and you get a good photo, you can translate across and figure out the scale and proportions of that thing. So anyway, no excuse. But yeah, anyway, it was awesome. I'm freaking super stoked I got in the show. Really fun to work with Jude Law. That was cool as all get out. He was awesome to be around. Pretty stoked about that in general. Even doing the Clatoonian stuff, which was, there was like a scene in the last episode where, I don't know if you saw episode 7 of Skeleton Crew. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but there's a scene where he had like a little talk right after the scene and I cut it out. And I was standing right next to him when he did that thing as a Clatoonian, not as a droid. And then like kind of things turn in his favor and he like reaches over and he like shakes me. And I was like, oh man, that'll be awesome. The camera's right on us. And then they cut it out. It's just that whole little speech he gave didn't even make it in the show. Let's see here. I knew you'd know. So yeah, that piece of garbage. What's crazy, I worked on some other stuff, and I've heard some interesting things from production about, like, they don't seem real thrilled with that guy for some reason. I don't know what it was. I was actually speculating with someone today about that. Like, I wonder what he did. Hi, Gordon. This is the guy who was recommended Velocidrone. Yeah, dude, I love it. It's awesome, man. I've been flying it for a couple days now. I think this is my third day, second day. I don't know. Third day flying Velocidrone. It's great. And I feel like I feel like you haven't been here maybe for a couple days, but I feel like I'm starting to get a little better. And right when I log online, I'm able to kind of get around a little easier. And I've been flying a little bit sloppy the last half of this thing so far, but when I first got in, I was like, oh my gosh, this feels so natural and cool. But I'm kind of like losing my juju here. I'm doing okay right now, but... Oh, seen that? All right. I know Jesse will appreciate your input for the RA7 files he's working on. We're all like... So that's kind of like... Because I'm working on something with someone else, it's very hard for me to give out too much information on that, unfortunately. And I am setting up my Patreon. I keep mentioning that, but I'm like now like got projects that I feel like I'm just about ready to finally post it. I'm going to be putting 3PO shorts, new shorts. I don't know if you heard this earlier, if you were in this stream when I was talking about this, but there'll be the new 3PO shorts that are scanned from screen use shorts. So they're kind of the shape of the ones that I sculpted, but they're actual scans off of like a real suit. And I'm going to make them a little easier to print, maybe if they were either TPU or if you made them out of like, PETG or something. I'm going to do a couple options for what you want to print them in, and then I'm going to make them so if you do them out of TPU, they're thinner at the legs and a little heavier toward the top, so that they hold their shape better toward the top and hold paint, but the where the bottoms go into the costume legs, they don't flex quite as much. I think that would be awesome, because I've done a couple sets that I've made myself, and I've gotten really close. And the ones I sculpted, I really love, but they have to be really made flexible to work right. And the ones that are from the scan are they're deformed into the shape that if you were standing more naturally. So they're still the same shorts, but they're like kind of pre-bent in the scan. And I'm going to just keep that. So, there's like Jesse's shorts that are nice and symmetrical and great. But then there'll be mine, which will be asymmetrical and a little wonky like the screen used ones. So, and I'll just put them on my Patreon. I'll probably have like 3 or 4 versions. I might even set up a Vacuform buck off of those, so that if you were going to print them and you want to Vacuform them, you could just make the buck and do that, or print the 2 halves and put them together, or print them as a single piece, and whatever works for everybody. And I was looking not that long ago, it got me a couple years ago, I got to work on some of the parts that were from the Star Tours 3PO, and I saw the shorts that they have on the Star Tours 3PO. They look like they were made off of a set that were kind of like the ones I sculpted, where the shape is like not made to be a hard fiberglass piece. And what they did is they cut the outer sides and like sort of pinched it together so it tapers, so the bottom of the leg is too thin to really put your legs through. So they had to like morph the shape of it. And I might do a version like that for anybody that's just doing a display droid. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Protocol TPU is super hard to get very smooth, eliminate layer lines. Yeah, I believe that. I've seen some people pull it off, and I'm not saying they have to be TPU. Like I said, like PETG would probably still work just fine. PETG has enough. Actually, PETG might work great because it's got enough flex, and it's really strong, and it's got a little bit of flex. And if the top is harder enough, it'll hold the paint really well, and you can sand it pretty nice. So it could be a good option. And then there's like what is it, flexible PLA now. I haven't tried smoothing that stuff yet, but I'm going to try to give it a go here. Oh, damn it. I'm going to try to give it a go here pretty soon and see how it does. Oh, wow. That was a smack. Also, if you lower your cam angle, your tight turns become 1,000%. Okay, that's good to know. That's the thing too. Is like what you're saying actually makes a lot of sense with the cam angle, because what I was doing is like what I talked about before. When I slow down, like I'm getting better at it, but I realize that if the cam angle is high, my center point now is like so much lower in the screen. Like this, the center point's like 2/3 of the way down the screen, and when I'm going faster, it's here. But that makes sense because if I turn the cam angle down, it'll kind of center it up, and I can fly a little slower without feeling like I'm about like looking down my nose. You know what I mean? But yeah, this simulator is great, man. I really like it. This board in particular is very fun. There's so many like little nooks and crannies to fly through. Oops, which makes it interesting because you can always just find a different path. And then I've only looked at maybe 2 of the courses. I technically 3, but one of them I don't think there was a course on it. They just had like a checkpoint off in a mountain. I don't know what I was supposed to do. So the variety of things to fly around in this board are really fun. Whoop. Oh my god. Ultralumin is flexible, by the way. The tip apart TC90. Oh yeah. That's the Ultralumin itself is just like using, I feel like, all-clad or something. So as long as the base and the top coat are flexible, you'll be good to go. And it's so thin, the Ultralumin is. And I need to pick up more TC90. I have a whole thing of, I have 2 things of Bulldog, the flexibility promoter, but if you add it directly to your clear coat, it'll make it flexible. So, and a while back I did some tests where I show it on some like latex hands, and I still had that hand kicking around here somewhere. I think it's actually in this room, oddly enough. Hold on a second. Now I'm curious. I feel like I had it down here for some reason the other day. But I've got that latex hand that I painted with just regular 2K auto clear, and it has the Bulldog adhesion promoter, which is not used for adhesion promotion on that. Once you add it to the clear coat, it's only a flexibility additive at that point. And I got another adhesion promoter from some other company, and I wanted to try it to see if it makes the urethane flexible too. Again, I'm not using it as adhesion promoter. I'm using it as a flexibility additive. I know I said it 5 times. I just want to make it real clear. But I'm going to try it. Maybe I'll try it on these 3PO parts I do next. When I'm spraying the stuff, maybe I'll just do a small batch with the flexibility stuff and just spray it on something just to see how it holds up. Yeah, there's got to be some ways. There's there's this cosplayer that does all this stuff with TPU, and she gets it very, very smooth, but I don't know what she's doing to it. I gotta ask. And our prints are really good. It's I can't remember the brand, but I was like, is it the brand of TPU she's using? Or is it like, because I've got multiple brands here, and the difference between them is pretty big. Like some of them are really, really rubbery and flexible, and some of them are like less flexible. And I know some of the newer ones will say the durometer of the TPU, but the ones I have don't say anything like that. It's just, brand to brand, they just kind of act different. So I don't know, if I haven't used it enough to know if one's better than another. I typically end up using it for like mechanical parts more than like, just parts I'm going to wear. But I would like to do it more if I could, to make them into actual costume pieces. Look at that. There's some little gates under here. Can I do them? Oh, almost died. I fly all my FPV cinema freestyle at 12 degrees unless I'm chasing something really fast like cars, motorcycles. Oh yeah, that's good to know. Trying to get Moncal to make a mold of 3PO shorts, mold a super shiny hard version so that urethane is shiny right off the bat. You know what I wanted to do is the vinyl wrap, the gold vinyl wrap that I use for my neck pieces. It's real stretchy and really shiny. I wanted to put that on the unvacuformed plastic and then vacuform it with the gold already on the plastic so that it just forms and you have like a vinyl wrapped gold shorts. And the vinyl wrap is really, really sturdy. I mean, the neck pieces I've used on my suit I've had for years, and when I turn, it holds up so well. And I feel like it would be, he could just offer the shorts already made in gold or silver, because they make a silver wrap. So you could just be like, hey, let me get them in whatever color. Just, squeegee on a section of vinyl wrap. Don't stretch it at all. Just make it as unstretched as possible, and then vacuform it, with the vinyl already on there. And that stuff heats awesome. It stretches great when it's hot. I feel like it would work really well, but I don't know. And then to protect it, what you do is you take a clear piece of PETG and vacuform that right on top of the gold. So you have your silver shorts, your shorts that are gold, and then you vacuform a clear PETG cover that you would almost not be able to see it. They did this for, I don't know if I showed it, but my RA7 droid, the eyes are done that way. It's multiple layers. I have one layer underneath that's like done with silver, and then I put a clear vacuform lens over it to protect it so you can't scratch up the silver at all. And that's what they did on Zero. My other droid, I'm talking in the wrong camera here, but they did the droid, from Mandalorian. That's how they did the lenses on that. That's how they did SM-33, the chest where the puppeteer is looking out is done. It's like a layer that's painted silver and then a layer that has all the weathering paint on it. It's a really, really good. How thick is PETG? You can get it very, very thin. You could do a super thin sheet of it, like really thin. You barely see it. And even if you did it kind of thick, it would be really sturdy. And that way, like, it would take all the wear and tear from the legs. It would be, it might even be worth having him, if he can, see if he can do a set where he vacuforms the ABS shorts and then just vacuform PETG right over it. It's really cheap. It's like, I don't know, $19 for like 8 foot by 4 foot sheet. So, what is that? Like $10 for a pair of shorts, maybe. Like half of it would easily do a pair of shorts. It vacuforms really easily. The stuff I've been getting that I did my lenses in, it's real flexible. It's real thin. Vacuform super nice, and you can't see it, super clear. So if you put it over your gold, it's just a protective layer over the gold to keep your shorts from getting all scratched up. I think that would be really, really good. Kevin Christie, rubber urethane. Yep, rubber urethane. Do I have anything around me that's rubber urethane? I don't know. I have all this crap around me. I brought all this stuff downstairs because I'm redoing my room right now. So there's stuff everywhere down here. Natalie's not thrilled about it. Yeah, you could do urethane rubber shorts, and they're flexy, but they're hard to paint. Or I actually kind of like the shorts that are like fiberglass with a little bit of flex, so they keep the paint real well, but they bend just enough that they don't mess you up. And I think the Vacuform shorts are great in that regard, because Vacuform's like a good size, but Cal's shorts are, the butt is too short on them. Sounds weird, but if you look at like the real shorts from the movie, and then look at the Cal shorts, the butt is too short. And I still wear my Vacuform shorts that I got from him years ago. I still use them for about half the time. They're easier to walk in than the ones that my other ones that I have that I made I like the look of mine more, but currently the ones I have are not easy to walk in. So if I'm walking around a lot, I use the Cal shorts, and if I'm standing around for photos, I use mine. But yeah, the Cal shorts, the butt is too small. So I would like to, again, like you were saying, make a buck out of the ones that I'm working on, and then Vacuform those. And I could either have them done, or maybe offer to put the buck online. I don't know. There's a guy that's in North Hollywood that, what's his shop's name? I got all these masks done for, there's a show called Yeah, Cal's awesome. I like Cal a lot. He's been really cool to me for like, I don't know, I've probably been talking to him on and off for like 13 years now, maybe 14 years, a long time. He's always been super cool. But what was I saying? I'm sorry, I spaced out flying through these things. But the Vacuform place, there's a guy that does really high quality vacuforming here in North Hollywood. He's got like very, very good machines. And I may do bucks and then have him vacuform the parts, because they'll just be like super professionally done. And I had a vacuformer here for a while. I still actually have parts, because I built one ages ago when I did my first Stormtrooper suit, and it's okay. It gets the job done. I think like for my own stuff it'd be fine, but I feel bad selling those, and I don't quite have the room for an industrial size vacuformer right now. I mean, I guess I could make the room for it, but I don't know if I'd use it enough. And the bigger ones usually take like 220 volt. I have to rewire my freaking house. But this guy in North Hollywood could do them, and I would just, figure out what he'd charge and just wrap it up in the price and just have him make the parts. He's very, very good. He's like an old dude. If I show some of the masks that he did for me for this for this TV show, I have some of them here. I'll pull them in the next live stream or something. The quality is fantastic. And he gave me all these tips when I was making the bucks for those pieces. He's like, you got to drill all these little holes, like here, here, and here, and have me drill these tiny little, like 32nd inch, tiny little holes all over this Vacuform buck. And they work great. They make the part, just all the detail comes out, and you can't see the holes. They don't show up on the actual Vacuform part at all. They're just small enough. But he just told me, just marked. He gave me the buck back with all these red dots all over it. He goes, drill holes in all these spots. And at the time, the back it was a 3D printed buck, and I filled it with Ultracal 30, which is like basically like cement, like a plaster, and it was really, really thick. So when I had to drill the holes, it wouldn't go all the way through to the back. So I had to like hog out all of this material out of the back of the casting. But again, the parts worked great. Everything came out really, really good. And it was good. There's flexible PLA, but I wouldn't trust it. It's like TPU. It's a pain to paint. Oh, see, that's good to know. Cal's a good friend. I think he can redo it. And Chris Bartlett. What about Chris Bartlett? That guy's a piece of garbage. Don't even get me started about that piece of garbage. Chris Bartlett is a piece of junk. I'll say it 5 times in a row. But yeah, so I'd talk to Cal about it, but I don't mind it. And Chris Bartlett likes to take credit for a lot of shit that he does not do. He's like, I make this, but really somebody else makes it, and he like puts his name on it. And I think that's a trash way to be. Trash person. You don't need to apologize to me. I'll fill y'all in. I'm thinking about making a video about it because the amount of stuff I could talk about that guy, man, you have no idea. I've never like said it all publicly, but I'm just done with it. I don't care anymore. I mean, you know, if you like guys that cheat on their wives and stuff, you know, whatever. It's no big deal. No big deal. Da-da-da. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, that's the thing. If I can't do something, or if somebody else helps me a whole bunch with it, you see me post online. Like if somebody's helped me do a thing, I will credit every single person that I can, unless for some reason I'm not allowed to, or they're not online publicly, or they tell me not to specifically, which has happened. Then I credit every single person. You go down my post and I'll have like every person named in there who helped me do it. Unlike some other people who will get a project and they'll just take the full credit for the thing, even though what they did on it was just put the project together and didn't make any of the pieces, didn't paint the things, didn't do jack shit. And then they're like, look what I did for so-and-so. It's just so lame. I mean, what kind of freaking weird sociopath do you have to be to do that? Shooting the gap. All right. Flying skills improving. Can I make it through here? Oh, God damn it. Making sure you see this. How would you adhere the PETG protective cover on the shorts after it's pulled? I'll ask Cal. I literally wouldn't, it wouldn't connect it. I would just like sandwich it over it, and then however you hold your shorts together, just pin it at the top, and it'll just sort of float on top. I wouldn't glue it or anything. Like maybe like a little piece of tape at the side. That's actually when I did the RA7. I did the eyes. I did the eyes like that, and I did the neck, because the neck ring, when I painted it silver, it would scratch super easy. Because I don't know if you've seen that, but when I make the neck rings for my suits, I make them out of old bleach bottles. So it's just that white plastic. It holds its shape pretty good, but it's also got a little flex. But it's hard to paint. So that paint on that RA7 droid that I used for the show would scratch like crazy. So I just cut a piece of PETG, clear PETG plastic, the same size, and I just laid it right over the silver on the neck. And you can't really see it. It works really good. And it just sits right on top and it looks invisible. And what's cool is that I could weather it, I could do all this stuff to it, and the weathering's on the top. So, I mean, technically speaking, if you had like a costume that needed to be all silver and then all weathered, or all chipped up paint and then all clean, you could make a vacuum piece of PETG right on top, and then make it so it pops off, and you could paint it or weather that, and then you just pop that stuff off, and now you got a clean suit right underneath. Just a thing that's interesting. One of the coolest things I did was help Anthony get dressed with Don Beast in New York City, Times Square. I actually dropped the head and was freaking out, but no scratch, and Don was cool. That's freaking awesome. That would be a wild experience. Don is a really nice guy. He came to my house one time to pick up a piece. Like I sold him a little 3PO part for, I can't remember what for, like a Greebly piece, and he came to my house to pick it up, and it was like one of the craziest things. I'm like, Don Beast is at my house. This is so weird. That is wild. How'd you end up in that situation suiting up Anthony Daniels in Times Square? That's pretty crazy. I'll have to start playing with PETG. I've been using PLA. So PETG is really, really sturdy. I don't have my bike in here, but one of my bicycles, I printed a brake bracket, an adapter, because the bike was older. It used to have like a different style disc brake, and the newer brakes are stronger, but the mounts that are on the bike physically not made to take the newer style brakes. So I had to make this crazy mount, and I was going to have it machined out of aluminum, but I wanted to print one to test to make sure that all the fittings like lined up properly, like all my bolt holes were correct, everything. And I 3D printed it, and I put it on my bike, and then I was just testing to see, and it works. And it's just a 3D printed part. I've taken that bike, I've done wheelies down hills where you think about that bike isn't light. It's for like doing dual slalom or like dirt jumping, so it's a pretty heavy bike. It's probably close to 40 pounds. Plus the weight of me, I'm 140 pounds. All that weight on the back wheel with the leverage of that wheel turning and the little brake in the middle and the little brake caliper here, and all that force is being forced into that 3D printed part, and it is not broken. I did that, I don't know, there's videos of it on my YouTube channel. You could go back and see from a few years ago when I made those, and the part just holds up just fine. It's crazy. It's like super strong. So it kind of made me also, I printed it solid. It's not like some percent is 100% infill, just solid plastic. So I wouldn't print it, any other way, but very, very sturdy. It makes me trust the stuff a lot. So like if I'm printing like, frames for GoPros or whatever, like stuff like this, like PETG, I totally trust it. And it's a little bit hotter, a little bit higher heat than PLA, but it's still easy enough to work with. It's a little more fickle than PLA, but not like ABS. ABS is a big pain, but PETG is pretty easy to print. Anthony was so nice. He had a reputation for being difficult with fans, but he was not the case with me. Yeah, I have met him a few times, and he's always been really cool to me. And we did a thing at Star Celebration in Anaheim last time was in Anaheim, and Anthony Carboni from the Star Wars show, they were gonna like suit him up, like kind of turn him into C-3PO, because the whole gag was he was kind of making fun of Anthony Daniels, like, oh, it's so easy, you just you got to just wear that thing, and all you had to do is, oh, my battery's down on my controller, and so easy, all you had to do is wear that suit and da-da-da, and they're like, oh, is it that easy? And then they have me come out with all these 3PO parts, and they start putting Anthony Carboni in like these 3PO pieces. So they used the hands from my costume. They got one of those like crazy like Amazon like 3PO like fabric costumes, but I made a 3PO head for that gag, and Anthony Daniels helped me put it on Anthony Carboni, and that was pretty fun. But before we went out on stage, I was backstage, and me and Anthony Daniels were like hanging out, and that was very fun for me. And he was super nice, super nice. ABS fumes scare me. Yeah, I don't like working with ABS. I actually have I'm going to turn this. I'm actually going to stop this. I'm going to stop my thing here because my controller is transmitter battery low is telling me it's about to end, which is usually my cutoff time, which means I'm going to go back upstairs and start videotaping myself. Shut up. I'm going to start videotaping myself building my backdrop for my studio room, which isn't going to be too exciting. It's just going to be a wall, but I'm going to make it like themed out to look like some kind of sci-fi metal, some kind of sci-fi metal like droid workshop room. And then all my droids will be there. And then once I get my shop set up downstairs, I have kind of like a man cave area. That whole backdrop is going to like come free, and I'm going to take it downstairs, reset it up downstairs, and then different wall treatment is going to happen in the studio. Super fun. And yeah, I have one roll of ABS. Hate printing with the stuff. I feel like it's so fickle, and the amount of times I've been frustrated at ABS print is crazy. I love that you can chemically weld it. Welding it with acetone is one of the coolest things, but it smells bad. It like 30% of the time the prints don't come out right because a corner will lift up or it'll warp or something crazy. I don't have an enclosed case for my printer, So it's just a bit much, a little pain in the butt to work with. But yeah, so anyway, then I'm going to call it. I'm going to go back, and then I might be back on tomorrow when I do some ZBrush work. I got a whole bunch of stuff. There's 3PO shorts. If you guys are interested, maybe I'll pull those up tomorrow and just do the clean on them, try to make sure all the creases are clean and everything. And it is a scan cleanup, so I'm not going to do much to it except for just make sure that it's as clean as possible and easy to print. And I'll go from there. I'll probably print a test pair for myself to make sure they come out right, but I will post the files on my Patreon. And so I'm going to try this week to get the Patreon actually set up so that I can make doing all this computer work worthwhile, so that I can justify sitting here making silly stuff instead of, doing work, if that makes sense. But anyway, all right, kids, I am going to get out of here. And thanks for stopping by. Oh, I'll be down to try them. Oh yeah, and I'll post them up and figure out what kind of material. And like I said, I'm trying to make them so that they are flexible in the right places, but stiff in the right places, so that they're easy to paint. And the ones I post initially are going to be one piece, so they slide on. That's it. One piece shorts, no seam lines on the sides. I like the way that looks more personally. However, I probably will do a 2-piece version that can be put together like the Vacuform shorts. So, just so you know. But, all right, I'm getting the heck out of here. You kids have a good time. Thanks.